Hi, my name is Paul Feliciano, and I'm doing a presentation about James Weldon Johnson and his book of autobiography of an ex-colored man. So first off, I want to talk about his background. So his background was that he was born in June 17, 1871. He partook in many jobs as a grown-up. He was American author, educator, civil rights activist, lawyer, and a diplomat songwriter. He graduated in Atlanta University and then got a bachelor degrees in somewhere along the line of literature or music. Unfortunately, I did not find what he majored in, but I'm assuming in the line of literature, as his mother was interested in European literature and music. And basically, when he was in the University of Atlanta, he partook on taking and educating former slaves to become part of society. And he saw during that time he saw how bad the black community was suffering, and basically he partook in it himself to improve Black lives and became a civil rights activist. And basically, he studied Black poetry, music, and theater. And I think the when he went to a rural area to teach former slaves to be partake in society, he basically realized that it was so bad that he had to improve it. So in most of his works as a university student, he wrote about how bad um, black people how black people were suffering back then. And that's most of his work as a university student, was mostly about how bad it was living as a colored person. And more about that, as a civil rights activist, he participated in Theodore Roosevelt's presidential campaign, and as a result of that, he got appointed as a United Consul at Puerto Cabello in Nicaragua for 1906 to 1913 by Theodore Roosevelt, and because of that, he married Gresnell. Let me scratch that. He became a United Consul at Puerto Cabello in Nicaragua from 1906 to 1913, promoting Black lives basically, and improving the education of Black people. And basically, what he did was that he created ninth grade and 10th grade to improve Black education as a result. And after he became a United Consul, he got interested and went to back to New York. He became interested in the Harlem Renaissance, and which basically resulted into supporting other works of people who wrote about poetry. And basically he wrote more about poetry, and that's how he became as a American author. And as far as him becoming a lawyer, while he was a United Consul, I believe that he read some books about law and proposed to do a bar exam. So during that bar exam, he became the first Black person to become a lawyer and pass the bar exam. So, and now I want to talk to you about his autobiography of an ex-colored man and the characters inside it. So, the beginning of an ex-colored man is that when we first start reading it, we find out that we don't know who the main character is. So I'm just going to refer to him as a narrator. So we don't know the name of the narrator, and basically he introduces lives, how he started as a child, and how he grew as a white person in this community, but he did not know who he was. So along the story, as the story went on, he met this person, Red, who was much older than him, and also who was very slow at everything in school. So what he did was that he helped Red, who was very known for his red hair, and basically he helped him with a spelling bee, and they formed this type of relationship where he thinks that Red needs him and Red keeps him around because he's he has wit and he can help him along with school. And then the narrator, along the way of his schooling, he meets this person, Shiny, who he feels like a special connection because he did not know that he was part of the black community until one day an event in the book that said a principal came into his class and said all the white people stand up, and basically he stood up with them, and then but the principal said, can you please sit down? And I think and he that's when he realized, and he was really confused why he needed to be seated down because he thought he was a white person. But when he came home, he he asked his mom if he was a colored if he was part of a colored community. And basically that dealt a big blow in his identity as a person. And throughout this, and I think along the book, we we have this notion of him trying to find his identity as a white person or black person, and moving through life to see what his identity is as a person. And part of this identity was that his mom never really taught him that he was part of the colored community, and just gave him the right to be in the white community, basically. And basically she was basically his supporter, and she also affected the way he thought about himself and how he grew up as a person. And the book is basically about how he's trying to be self-aware of what he really is as a person and what community he should be part in, because he thinks that he is he is part of the colored community, but at the same time he's also interacting with the white community. But he knows in the back of his mind that he is also part of that colored community, and he can't separate himself from that. So, and I think part of the book, he's slowly realizing what what community he wants to be part in. And so I believe that's he is struggling along in the book. And I think further on in the chapter we get to see how he develops as a character. And now I want to talk to you about the themes about the book. So first off, one of the themes that we see while we read this book is identity. So this identity is part of the theme of the book is because the narrator himself doesn't know is struggling on the idea of being black or white, because in the beginning of the book, his mom didn't really tell him that he was part of the colored community, so he thought of himself as being white. But he got this big revelation in school that he was black, and he had to confirm with his mom. And I think along the way he's trying to realize, is he black or is he white? And we still don't know that part. And he's slowly going through that phase of trying to see what he really think of himself as. And and then another theme that we see is that self-awareness. The narrator has a hard time being self-aware of himself, and he doesn't take time to understand what he feels on a particular situation, and he doesn't try to deep down why he feels that way. And basically I think that ties down to him being unknown, like being not named. That's why we call him a narrator. I don't think we ever know what his name is. It's just because he's a type of person who doesn't know what he wants to be yet, and that's why we won't know his name. We will never know his name. And then part of it is that another theme of the book is arts and culture, and this arts and culture partakes in this book is because the narrator explores literature and basically studies Latin and classical music of a white tradition, and basically tries to prove that even if you are a colored man, you can still be intelligent and explore these things and improve, like, not improve, but improve and tell people that that race is being colored doesn't mean you're dumb. It's more of like you can be these things without having privileges, I would say. And another theme is masculinity and manhood. He lacked a father figure from the very, very start of the book. We never knew who his father was. There was only one time that his father did go and visit him, and the only time was to show off, to visit him and basically know what he's doing. And basically, his father gave him this piano, but nevertheless, he never really had a majorly father figure. And I think that the narrator struggles to find out his own masculinity and manhood because he never had one, and his mother was the only one who taught him to. His mother is the only one who raised him as he went along. And I also wanted to talk about how James Weldon Johnson, when he studied Black poetry, music, and theater, he was also interested in the Harlem Renaissance, and because of him being interested in Harlem Renaissance, he attracted white community to learn more about Black poetry, music, and theater, and I think he became one of the popular person to be in the Harlem Renaissance. And basically, this is what I have for my presentation of a James Weldon Johnson. And again, my name is Paul Christopher Alojado Feliciano, and this is it, my presentation of James Weldon Johnson.